Hey friend, today we're going to talk about when you receive your prognosis. So the waiting is now over, the scans are done, and the answers are finally here. But now you're staring at your treatment plan and you're wondering what happens next. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about 5 things to focus on after you receive your breast cancer prognosis. So number 1, how do you accept what is in front of you? How do you receive help when you've always been the strong one? How do you stop feeling overwhelmed by all the medical information around you? And how do you find strength to take the next step when the road ahead feels frightening? Because, friend, you don't need to figure out your entire breast cancer journey today. You only need enough grace for the next step. So come sit with me. Are you scared of leaving your children behind after a breast cancer diagnosis? Are you carrying fear, exhaustion, and that mom guilt while still pushing through every day? If you're tired of holding all of that and want simple ways to support your children and feel held in your journey and move through each day with a little more strength, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Priska. I'm a mom of 2, a woman of faith, and a breast cancer survivor. As a mom, I tried to carry it all alone, but I was never meant to. So I created this space for us. Come sit with me. You don't have to do this alone. So go grab your cup of tea. Yes, that cold cup of tea. I know you've heated it thrice already. And let's get started. Hey friend, before we get started today, I just want to say I'm really proud of you for showing up for yourself today. I know life can feel really heavy sometimes, so the fact that you pressed play, it means more than you know. And if you know someone who's going through a breast cancer diagnosis who might need to hear this episode, please do share it with them. Sometimes a simple message saying, "I thought of you when I had this," can make someone feel a little less alone. And if this podcast has helped you or encouraged you in any way, please leave a written review too. I truly love hearing from you. And your reviews, they help other moms find this podcast. So let's get started. So today I want to talk to the mom who has moved beyond the diagnosis. You've survived the waiting, you've survived all the scans and the biopsies, the sleepless nights, the endless questions, and now you finally know. You've received your prognosis. And now maybe you know your breast cancer type and you know the stage. And you've already had the conversations about your treatment plan. And you've had the words and statistics you never, ever, ever imagined you'd become part of. And while one side you feel a bit relieved that you finally have the answers, another part of you feels very and completely overwhelmed. Because now the question changes. It's no longer about what's happening to me. It's what happens next. And if this is where you're today, if this is where you're sitting in today, this episode is just for you. Because I remember very, very, very clearly standing exactly where you are. So the diagnosis had happened, the waiting had happened. And now there was a treatment plan in front of me, the one that I had so much waited for. And suddenly, it was very real. It was something now that needs to be done, and I needed to actually do it. So today I want to share with you 5 things that helped me navigate going through the next stages. Not because they made the journey easy, but they helped me take the next step. And sometimes that's all we'll need. All we need is to take just the next step. So number 1, you have to accept what is in front of you. And this may be the hardest one, acceptance. Not because we like what is happening, not because we agree with it, and not because we wanted any of this, but at some point we have to stop asking, why is this happening? And now we have to start asking, how do I walk through what is ahead? Because, well, as they say, it is what it is. And how do we deal then with what is in front of us? So now you've got your treatment plan and you know maybe there's surgery upcoming or there's chemo, there's radiation, or you've got all the 3. And before you can move forward, you have to come to a point where you simply have to acknowledge that this is the road I am walking now. It's not forever. It is not my entire story, but this is the road in front of me. And honestly, for me, that acceptance brought me so much peace. Not because I was happy about cancer, not because I'd stopped spending all my energy fighting the reality of what this was or where I was, but I started focusing that energy now on walking forward. So, my friend, please do that. Accept and start focusing that energy on walking forward. Number 2, you have to accept that you will need help. And this can be really hard. This one was hard for me, really, really hard. Because before cancer, I was the one running around. I was the helper. I was supporting others. I was the mom. I was carrying everything. And suddenly, I had to shift to that person who will need help. Because you'll discover you'll become vulnerable in ways you've never experienced before. You'll need help to get to appointments, to go to the doctor. You need help with your children, with fixing meals, with household chores. And there are days when you'll not even be able to take care of your basic needs, And that can feel very confronting. And especially if you've spent your entire life being independent. Or maybe you've always been the strong one. Or maybe for you, receiving help feels very uncomfortable. Or sometimes you may have very high standards that nobody seems to do things the way you want them done. And yet, this journey, it will ask you to loosen your grip. It will ask you to let go of what you've always known and done. And you'll have to welcome people. You have to let in people to carry you. You have to let in people to love you. And you have to let people to show up for you. Not in how you do it, in how they do it. And I remember thinking about that, and I told God, please make me be a gracious patient. Not just a patient, a gracious one. Because a gracious patient doesn't demand from people caring for them. A gracious patient doesn't project their fears, their anger onto others. A gracious patient receives help from others with grace. With grace, because they know caregiving is hard too. The one who's caregiving for you, they didn't sign up for this. They could walk away. Your family didn't expect this. Your loved ones, they're walking a road they never expected to travel either. And so as you pray for yourself, pray for them too. So I prayed for grace for myself, and I prayed for grace for them too. Because I do remember that when that treatment plan came, and now I knew there was chemo, there was surgery, and there was radiation ahead. I was like, okay, well, but then that's not all. Because during the scans, they discovered that my left kidney wasn't functioning properly either. And suddenly, I just wasn't dealing with breast cancer. I was dealing with a kidney issue too that needed big major surgery. And at the moment, breast cancer was the priority. So I needed a stent inserted so I could go on with breast cancer treatment. And then eventually I would have to deal with the kidney issues. So when I went back home, I went straight to my bedroom and I closed the door, as sometimes you will do many times. And I sat quietly on my bed because the path ahead suddenly felt too big, too huge. It was enormous. So there's breast cancer. Okay, I'm still dealing with that. There's chemo. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I've seen all the scary stories. There's surgery. Oh, I fear that. I've got to go under. There's radiation. And now there's kidney complications. So, and I told God, Lord, this is a road I've never traveled before. You have to go with me and help me pray and help me that I travel with it with grace. And I remember praying for my husband too, because this wasn't a road he had traveled before either. And I prayed that God would guide him, he would strengthen him, and would surround him with angels. And strangely enough, after I prayed, I felt so much peace. So I encourage you to do the same. Pray and accept help and be a gracious patient. Number 3, find a care team that you trust. One of the most important decisions that you will make is who will walk this journey with you medically. And if you have options, choose very carefully. Make sure you choose the team that listens to you. Make sure you choose the team that sees you as a person, the team that makes you feel heard. And at this point, you have to know that you have to advocate for yourself. That headache that you have lingering on and you're like, oh, it will go away. No, you have to speak. You have to speak when there's something that's going wrong. You don't have to be brave. You have to ask questions. You have to seek clarity when you don't understand. And if you don't know what's going on, get a second opinion. You really have to advocate for yourself. And if you're not able to do that, find a friend. Go with a friend, go with your spouse, find someone. Because you're not a statistic. You're a person, you're a mom, you're a woman, and you're a whole human being with hopes and fears and dreams, and you need to feel heard. And maybe you don't have a choice in your care team. Pray over them. Pray over whoever touches your body, whoever determines your treatment plan. Pray for wisdom, pray for unity, and pray that God will bring together exactly the people you need. Because regardless of who is in your medical team, God can still work through them for your good. Number 4, give yourself permission not to know everything. This journey comes with a lot of new information, new jargon, new terms that you have to deal with, and you do not know exactly what things mean. So can I gently take some pressure off your shoulders? You do not have to become a breast cancer expert. Because what we start doing is we start Googling, we start reading, we start researching and comparing and trying to understand every medical term, every statistic, every treatment option. And before we know it, our minds are completely overwhelmed. Let me tell you, my friend, you do not need to understand everything today. You do not need to memorize every medical word. You probably don't even need to know what's happening with you now. Because one of the things I've learned very quickly was that this journey unfolds one conversation at a time. Your doctors will explain things, questions will get answered, and understanding will come in its time. But if you try to understand everything about breast cancer in one afternoon, it will leave you completely exhausted, overwhelmed, and probably heading for deathbed. So give yourself some permission today. Give yourself permission to learn slowly. Give yourself permission to ask the same question twice or thrice or 4 times. You can say, I don't understand. You can say, explain that again. And you can say, you know what, this hurts. Can we talk about it another time? Because you know what? You've just received some really life-changing news and your brain is trying to process such an enormous amount of information while your heart is still carrying a huge amount of emotion. And that is a lot for one person. So you've got to be gentle with yourself. You don't need all the answers today. You only need enough understanding for the next step. And that comes to my 5th point. Focus on today, not the whole journey, just today. Because after the prognosis, your mind wants to run ahead. You want to think about, okay, what's the treatment? What's the recovery? What's the recurrence? What's the future? How about my children? What do the years ahead mean? And suddenly, we are trying to carry 5 years of worry in one afternoon. Do not do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. Just focus on today. Just focus on the next appointment, the next conversation, the next treatment. Period. That's all. God doesn't give us strength for 5 years today. He gives us strength for today. Because in Philippians, in the Bible, Philippians chapter 4:13, he says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So please note, he has said all things. That includes the easy things, the hard things, the things we wanted, and the things we never wanted. And what does he promise? He promises the strength that will come when we need it. Not before, not after, just as we need it. So as you focus on that, just remember that God will go before you. For me, my anchor became that God goes before me. Because honestly, if I didn't have God, what else did I have? Of course, there were days that felt very uncertain around me. The whole journey was quite uncertain, from the treatment to the side effects to the unknowns. So I held so tightly to God's promises. The Bible says the Lord himself goes before you and he will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. That is from the Bible. And you know what? I chose to believe that. So every time I walked into a hospital room, every time I went to an appointment, every time I sat on that treatment chair, every scan, I would remind myself, God has already been here. He already got here before me. So if he brought me here, he will take care of me here. And that changed everything for me, because I stopped feeling like I was walking into these places alone. Instead, I was walking in believing that God had already gone before me. He'd cleared everything. He was in every treatment room. He was in every operating theater. He was in every consultation. He had already been there before I walked in. And that was enough for me. So, friend, if you've received your breast cancer prognosis today, and I know this may feel very overwhelming, and you may be feeling scared, you may be feeling vulnerable, and you may be feeling uncertain about what comes next. I want you to hear this. You do not need to know how to walk the entire journey today. You only need enough grace for the next step. Accept what is in front of you. Receive help with grace. Trust your care team. And give yourself permission not to know everything. Just focus on today. And remember that God has already gone before you. So one day, one step, one prayer, one day at a time. There's always a seat for you here. So I'll see you in the next episode. I hope this episode held you in some small way today. And if it did, please share with a friend who needs to hear this, or maybe needs a soft place to land. And if you feel ready, please leave a written review for the podcast. I'd truly love to hear from you and to know that this show is supporting you in your journey. This space, it's not just mine, it is ours. So now go take a breath, maybe reheat that tea one more time, and I'll meet you back here for the next episode. Ciao.